Tonight, 2025 appropriation in focus as National Assembly adjourns to 28 January. Senate rejects 2025 budget proposal for Federal Ministry of Information.
The Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation unanimously resolved that this budget be returned back.
Plus, Rivers State House of Assembly overrides Governor Fubara as Lagos House of Assembly gets first female speaker. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Ene Ojonugba. You can follow this newscast on the social media platforms on the screen and on Nigecom Sats. Senate has adjourned plenary to Tuesday, 28th of January 2025 to enable standing committees continue budget defense engagements with NDAs. This was at the reconvened plenary after the Christmas and New Year break, where the lawmakers expressed their renewed commitment to collaborate with the executive for overall development. The sitting commenced with confirmation of appointees of President Tinubu into the board and management of the Southeast and Northwest Development Commissions. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, assured Nigerians that the Red Chamber will work meticulously on the 2025 budget proposal under consideration with the usual patriotic zeal. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the President of the Senate also hinted plans to further amend the Electoral Act.
As the nation begins preparations for the next electoral cycle in 2027, we have a unique opportunity to strengthen our democracy by tinkering with our Electoral Act, to strengthen it for the congresses, primaries, etc., and conventions. Electoral reform is not just a legislative duty, it is a moral imperative.
Similarly, the passage of the 2025 appropriation bill and the tax reforms bills before Parliament have been listed as priorities as the House of Representatives resumed plenary after the Yuletide. The House is also advocating increased funding, provision of modern equipment and enhanced welfare packages for the armed forces of Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Mitairi Ikpen reports.
Crucial bills are before lawmakers as they resume plenary to tackle socio-economic challenges through legislation.
The resumption.
The Speaker's address delivered by the Deputy Speaker sets the tone for legislative business.
Our legislative agenda for 2025 prioritizes the passage of the appropriation bill and the tax reform bills, both of which are pivotal to economic recovery and fiscal stability. These reforms are essential, broadening the tax base, improving compliance, and reducing dependency on external borrowing.
While commemorating Armed Forces Remembrance Day, the House is unanimous in a resolution that the nation's military deserve more funding and benefits.
Calls on the relevant committees of the House to regularly assess and provide recommendations for the improvement of the armed forces operations, ensuring their continued efficiency and effectiveness.
An offer of automatic scholarship through basic, senior secondary and tertiary education for the children of our fallen heroes, so that this will motivate the forces, the armed forces, to do better while in their line of duty.
To curb the spread of various strains of hepatitis, lawmakers are pushing for increased awareness and testing for the virus.
To urge the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Development and the relevant agencies to make testing, vaccination and treatment mandatory for children below 5 years of age to prevent mother-to-child transmission, ensure safety standards are adhered to both in public and private healthcare facilities in the country towards containment and prevention of further spread of viral hepatitis.
At the Committee of the Whole, the House adopted the report of the Conference Committee which harmonized the Southwest Development Commission Bill for presidential assent.
Today is the final that the House has just passed, and which means that it will be transmitted by the clerk to the National Assembly straight to the President for his assent. And once that is done, Southwest Development Commission has come to stay.
The House has adjourned plenary for 2 weeks till the 28th of January 2025 to enable lawmakers intensify scrutiny of sectoral allocations in the 2025 budget. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikwen, NTA News.
Now to budget defense. Considering the place of information management in promoting government policies and programs, the National Assembly has rejected the Ministry of Information and National Orientation's 2025 budget proposals, describing it as inadequate. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that the legislators seek special intervention to support the ministry and its agencies in discharging their duties.
Presenting the budget of the Ministry of 8.9 billion naira for 2025 alongside agencies under its supervision, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris highlighted the 2024 budget performance.
Also in the year of reforms. Reforms have been happening since last year, and most of those reforms we believe will be consolidated in 2025. Now, if that is going to be achieved, it is important that Nigerians, and especially our representatives here, pay attention to what happens in this sector. It is our job to tell Nigerians what every ministry, what every agency is doing.
Mohammed Idris says the ministry will continue to inform Nigerians on what government is doing for value orientation.
No matter whatever the engagement that we do, if this value reorientation is not in the front burner, it will not see the light of the day. And so we thank Mr. President for seeing that and for also ensuring that this ministry takes center stage.
Members of the committee commended the giant strides made by agencies under the Ministry of Information, particularly the NTA, committing them to increase their revenue generation.
Let me say this. I was searching now on how much certain African countries spend on orientating their people, how to disseminate information, and again, build a national image. Let's take South Africa, for example. South Africa's budget in 2024 for a ministry similar to yours, which is called the Government Communication and Information. The budget, 5.1 billion rand, equivalent is 409 billion naira. So if South Africa is budgeting 409 billion, Nigeria should be talking about 1 trillion, 1.5 trillion, if we are really serious. Because they say information or news shapes the mind of people.
I support the position that information is power, and the more we market our country, the safer we are as a democracy. So every consideration should be given to this sector. Thank you.
When I see this kind of figures for Federal Ministry of Information, it's no fault of yours. Somewhere we're missing the point. Because if you take what the government pays into channels, into Arise, into several stations, and we see those people who come and defend the government, and it means a lot of money. We know it's a lot of money, but the government own is being sidelined for whatever purpose, I don't know. Either it's systemic. It's not about Bola, President Bola. It's systemic, and that's why this committee needs to up its ante. What do you do? Try to make sure that the NTA and other television stations remains competitive.
Item number 6 at page 7, which is Federal Tenders Journal. That is a journal that tells the public available contracts for which they tender and make money from. And I think the cost of that journal is too low.
A motion was moved for the rejection of the 2025 proposal for the Information Ministry due to inadequacy of funds.
You go back to the President, considering the level of activity we expect from you, and the deliverables that are required, we are moving this motion that the budget for the Ministry of Information and National Orientation is rejected by this Committee on Information. I so moved.
And we observe the very insignificant and minimal appropriation for the entire ministry. And considering the fact and the role that the information sector play in this country, and we are saying we want to drive the transformative agenda of Mr. President, we deemed it necessary last year to recommend to the Appropriation Committee that there's every need for the information sector to be well funded. And in doing that, by the end of the day, we couldn't get the expected result. And this year, the ministry appeared before the committee again, and they came with the same, even lower appropriation for the information sector and all the agencies. And as National Assembly and Senate in particular, and very responsive body like lawmakers, we feel it is not proper and not acceptable for us to legislate on that proposal that was brought to us. So the Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation unanimously resolved that this budget be returned back. If the government want to fund the information sector in this country, they should live up to the expectation and fund the very, very important sector like information properly so that the expected result will be achieved.
The budget defense was adjourned sine die. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Still on 2025 appropriation, appeals for improved funding for enhanced performance resonated across committee rooms of the National Assembly as more NDAs appeared for budget defense. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The new permanent secretary, State House, made his first appearance before the Senate Committee on Special Duties to discuss the 2024 budget performance and the 62 billion naira projections for 2025, which he says is inadequate.
The sum of 36.9 billion roughly is for capital projects. This sum is substantially lower than what was available in the 2024 budget. Most of the other activities, actually, we noticed that there's a reduction. And I fear that this may, inadvertently affect the operations of the State House.
So we want you to go back and prepare a brief of all the capital projects under State House that is ongoing, and then the level of completion and or performance in using the budget balance.
Similar complaints came up at the budget defense meeting between the Senate Committee on FERMA and the Works Ministry, where underfunding was noted as a challenge for maintenance of roads.
Yearly budgetary allocation to the agency is grossly inadequate to cater for the enormous task of maintaining our extensive network of roads, particularly the federal roads, which will require over 700 billion.
One of the cardinal objectives of this administration through the Renewed Hope agenda is about restoring the confidence of Nigerians in governance, bringing about development and prosperity. And roads are very critical to the attainment of this noble objective.
The Federal Ministry of Justice and other agencies in the legal sector took turns before the Senate Committee on Justice and made demands towards achieving efficient justice delivery.
It should be noted that the effect of our interventions in this sector have multiplier effects, which will promote peace and security, economic growth, and social justice.
121 billion plus. Distinguished senators are kindly requested to note that this total sum is inclusive of the allocations to National Drug Law Enforcement Agency.
Minister of State Foreign Affairs in the Budget Defense Engagement with House of Representatives Committee made a case for enhanced funding in 2025.
The budgetary constraints make it very difficult for officers in those missions abroad to undertake such consular visits.
At another committee budget defense session, Ministry of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy appealed for better staff welfare to further project the nation's rich heritage.
An agency has the capability of selling one single item or one piece of art to generate $1.2 million.
The minister of the newly created Ministry for Livestock Development, while at the Senate, noted areas of priority as the sector kickstarts activities in 2025.
We think that along the line, we will get some special allocation because of the criticality of this ministry and the concerns of Mr. President about the transformative nature that we need to bring to bear on this on the livestock sector.
Advocacy is very key to avoid unnecessary misconception.
We now pause for some messages. The news continues shortly.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
Thank you for staying with us. You are watching NTA Parliamentary News, reaching you from Nigeria's capital city. The National Assembly Joint Committee on Pensions has held its 2025 budget defense, bringing together Pension Commission, PENCOM, and the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PITAD, to discuss critical matters related to pension administration in Nigeria. National Assembly correspondent Amina Seidu reports that discussions focused on improving the welfare of retirees and advancing ongoing reforms to ensure efficiency and transparency in pension management.
Chairman Joint Committee on Pensions Fasui Cyril and members commended the efforts of both agencies, urging them to come up with a comprehensive strategy to address challenges bedeviling the pension administration.
Have your documents. What we want you to do is to give us highlight of your budget performance for 2024. Budget performance for 2024. And you go after that immediately to your 2025 projection. Your presentation is quite explicit. Also seen all the explanatory notes. And I think that we'll work based on what you submitted and see what we can do to assist you as a committee.
Director General of PENCOM and Executive Secretary of PITAD assured the committee of ensuring retirees receive their entitlements while making amendments on certain areas needing urgent attention.
Starting last year, federal government started deducting 50% at source initially and subsequently reduced that in the course of the year to 30% deduction at source. So that sort of hampered a number of things that the committee wanted to do because we had to work in line with the budget.
We have ongoing projects addressing these payments of gratuity to the eligible recipients. But what also happened was, for CPIT, for most of the eligible recipients, we have issues of documents that are still ongoing. We are still working on it. And for CSP, they were able to pay some substantial amount.
From the National Assembly, Amina Saidu, NTA News.
Away from budget matters, Lagos State House of Assembly makes history with the emergence of Deputy Speaker Mojisola Meranda as the new Speaker, making her the first female to hold the office in the history of Lagos State House of Assembly. This follows the impeachment of Mudashiru Obasa over allegations of financial misappropriation and lack of transparency in the management of the Assembly. Musa Toiliat reports that the motion for impeachment was moved on the matters of urgent public importance at an emergency plenary in Lagos.
The plenary was far from the regular because it was conducted in the chamber without power supply. Having acknowledged a letter for emergency sitting, Honorable Femi Said, representing Koshafe Constituency 2, moved the motion for the impeachment of the Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, under matters of urgent public importance.
I hereby move that the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, be removed as Speaker of this House Assembly for the following reason. 1. Gross misconduct and poor leadership, including perpetual lateness to legislative sections and meetings. 2. High-handedness and lack of regard for honorable member at all times, intimidation and suppression of members, including inciting members against one another. 3. Financial impropriety, misappropriation of funds and lack of transparency in its management of the House of Assembly funds. 4. Gross abuse of office and privileges as the Speaker of the House of Assembly via authoritarian and undemocratic leadership style. 5. The erosion of trust among honorable members due to unethical practices and inability to carry the majority of members' assembly along in decision making.
Thereafter, the clerk declared the office of the Speaker vacant. Then it was time for nomination for the office of the Speaker.
I, Bola Onisha, representing the Lagos Constituency 2, hereby propose Right Honorable Mojisola Meranda, the Deputy Speaker, to take the chair of this House as the Speaker of the House of Assembly.
32 out of the 40 members of the Assembly ratified the nomination of Mojisola Lasbat Meranda as the new and first female Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, while Honorable Majid Fatai became the Deputy Speaker.
I will strive to preserve the fundamental and objective and directive principles
of state policy
contained in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And so help me God.
Legislators briefed the journalists after the plenary.
All the principal position has been dissolved, and all the standing committee has been dissolved. So the House, as you can see, we have resolved to work together and ensure that we move the Parliament to the next level. We cannot open our eyes and allow this Parliament to dwindle. We hold the constituents a duty, and we hold Lagos State a duty of ensuring that the sanctity of the House and the integrity of this House is restored.
The House of Assembly also suspended the clerk of the Assembly, Olalekan Onofeko, and he has been replaced with Abubakar Taiwo Otun as the acting clerk of the House of Assembly. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
The Rivers State House of Assembly has invoked its constitutional powers by overriding Governor Siminalayi Fubara on 3 bills, which was earlier passed and transmitted to the governor in November 2024. Factional Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Martin Amawule, announced these at the 94th sitting of the House. Nkiru Onyejishi reports.
The bills that the Amehule-led Assembly seeks to override include Rivers State Return of Schools Amendment Bill 2024, Rivers State Electricity Market Bill 2024, and Rivers State Commissions of Inquiry Bill 2024. They were represented by the Majority Leader, Major Jack, and debated by members present.
Where the governor withholds assets
and the bill is again passed by the House of Assembly by 2/3 majority, the bill shall become law and the assent of the governor shall not be required anymore.
Speaker Martin Amehule cited Section 100, subsection 5 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as the enabling provision that empowers the House to override the governor where he unduly withholds his assent.
All three bills that we had to veto the governor this morning, Rivers State cannot be stalled as a result of indolence or willful disobedience to the 1999 Constitution as amended by the governor of Rivers State. Rivers State must continue to move forward, will continue to perform our duties as enshrined by the 1999 Constitution.
He maintained that the 10th Assembly would continue to uphold the Constitution and carry out their legislative duties for the good of the people of Rivers State. The members unanimously voted in support of the bills to be passed into law.
Those in favor, after careful reconsideration of this bill, that the bill should now be passed into law, given that the governor has withheld his assets to indicate by raising their hand.
In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejisi, NTA News.
That concludes the bulletin at this time. On behalf of the production crew, I am Ene Ojonugba. Have a good evening.